channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about manifestation, the law of attraction, and the ways that I manifest. I just want to quickly say before we get into today's video that I am no professional in manifestation, law of attraction, anything like that. I do not know the facts and figures, but I'm aiming to sort of share messages with you, share techniques that I have learned, and tell you about the techniques that I have found really, really useful and the ways that I think I have manifested things for myself. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. As I said, I'm just sort of sharing with you today some techniques that I found really helpful and the techniques that I think might have helped me to manifest things. So I have had a few things that have happened to me that I think may be to do with manifestation. It could be a complete coincidence, but personally I do think I helped them to sort of happen through manifesting, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to share with you a few techniques. I think I'm going to talk to you about three main things today that I have found that have worked for me. I am also sharing information that I have learned from other people, so this isn't all things I've come up with myself, do you know what I mean? But some of these things I have found that have helped me, or I've sort of learned along the way, just bits and bobs like that basically. And I'm going to link a few YouTubers down below who I've watched videos of and I found very informative, helpful and just interesting to watch, that I have sort of gathered bits and bobs of information from. So some bits of information you might have heard in these videos, but I'm not trying to copy them or anything. A few people I've actually found really, really helpful are Luca Whitaker, Fernanda Ramirez, Master Sri Akanshana, who interviewed Life by Lucy. Now those are just a few people who I've watched, and I'll try and link some of their videos down below where they did talk about manifestation, and I found them really, really helpful. So the first thing I am going to talk to you about today is scripting. Alright, so I feel like scripting is a pretty common technique for manifesting, and you will probably most likely have heard of it before if you are interested in it and you've done a little bit of research into manifestation. So I use a notebook for scripting and manifesting. Now the three techniques I'm going to talk to you about today kind of all link in together, and I think the three things I do combined is what helps me manifest rather than one thing individually. But I think some people do just do one thing. It's honestly whatever is best for you. There are a few things I am sometimes skeptical about to do with law of attraction, manifesting and stuff, but I just believe what I want to believe sort of thing, and I don't force myself to sort of believe every single word that people necessarily say about manifesting, and you don't have to. You might not believe everything I tell you, or the things that I think have helped me. You might be like, well, I don't think that's going to work, and that's absolutely fine. I think you should do what makes you happy, choose whatever techniques you work best for you, but I say it's a little bit of trial and error, to be honest. But this is something I have found quite helpful. So scripting, going back to scripting, which is what we're supposed to be talking about, I keep getting a bit sidetracked. Basically I use this notebook, and on the front it says the universe is made up of tiny stories, and I will try my best to link these notebooks. I got three. There's a gold sparkly one, and then there's these two, and I got them for Christmas, but I'll try and link them in the description if I can. So you just need a little notebook like this, whatever notebook you have, even if it's just a scrap of paper. I've heard of some people using just random bits of paper, and it doesn't have to be neat, but I just prefer to keep all of my notes in here. What scripting is writing down things that you would love to happen, and that you would love to come true. So you basically write down your dreams in your notebook, but there are different ways of doing this. So you could either write down, I wish or I dream this will happen, and write it down in that sort of way. I also heard some people saying that you can write it down in a letter style, so as if you're writing to someone. This could be to universe, to God, this could be to a person, an imaginary person. You could give your notebook a name if you wanted, so you could have, I don't know, Julie the notebook, so you could say to Julie, I would love this to happen. And the other way you can do it, which is the way that I have been using, is to write it as if it is already happened, it's happening, and I've already got the things that I'm wishing for. So for example, I'm just going to read you a little example of one of my things. I don't really like to share too much of what I manifest just because I think it's very, very personal to me, but I am going to share a little bit with you. So just to give you an example, I feel so proud and happy and generally excited about life because I have so many exciting things planned. Coronavirus is no longer around and everyone's living their best lives. I've got 150,000 subscribers. Me and my fiance have a subscriber party planned and a family and friends engagement party planned too. We have lots of holidays booked and my business is doing fantastically. And then I said about having a certain amount in my bank account. Today I'm wearing my own clothing range. I'm happy with the way my body looks and I feel happy, excited and loved. And they're just the sort of things I've written in here. It's just an example of one of the sort of extracts from my notebook. And that just gives you an idea of what sort of thing you can put. So I was saying, I feel so happy, I feel so excited, I've got a clothing range, my business is doing so well. Now, I don't actually have a business yet, but I would love to start a business at some point, possibly this year or next year or just some point in my life. I'd love to start my own business. So although that has not actually happened so far and I haven't actually started it even, these things can be long-term goals. They don't have to be things that you want right now. So I've basically written something like that. However, another thing you kind of need to know is it's recommended that you write things that you are grateful for as well. Things that you're, you know, just really happy about in your life, things you've achieved, anything like that you should probably include as well. So I do have a section in here where I write down the things that I'm really, really grateful for and the things that I'm just have achieved or whatever. I sometimes write those down in here because they do say that it's important that you're not giving out sort of desperate energy. So if you're desperate for these things, then they don't always, you know, it doesn't always happen, because I don't know if this is 100% true, but this is what I've sort of gathered from information I've heard, is that if you're really, really desperate for something and you just cannot take your mind off it, then you're giving out desperate energy. And desperate energy is apparently a sort of low energy, and to reach these high energy, good, positive things that you want, such as being happy, you need to give out happy energy and like be happy to give out that high energy as well. So you apparently attract things that are on the same level as you. Now I'm using terminology such as apparently and things like that just because I don't know if this is 100% true. I don't know if this is scientifically correct. I am just sharing this information that I've heard. I'm sorry I'm really explaining myself in this video, but I just want to make things really clear for you all. You don't really want to be desperate for the things that you've written down, and they just want to be sort of goals, things you would love and you would feel really happy if you had, but that you don't need necessarily. I say that's the sort of thing. Also, it's recommended that you don't think about these things too much. So of course it is good to think about them, because you do want to be like consciously and subconsciously making decisions that lead to these things happening. So you do want to think about it, you know, now and again, maybe once or twice a day you could think about it. But I actually found that when I had written these things down, thought about them so deeply at the time, and then sort of forgot about it almost for a week or so and just didn't really think about it, that is when things started to happen, which I found really interesting, because I actually heard this from the girl Life by Lucy, who was interviewed by Master Sri Akashana, and she actually said about that she basically wrote down some things and then she lost this piece of paper for however many years, and then all those things just like happened, and then she came back to it and she was like, oh my goodness, these things have happened that I manifested. And I just found that really interesting, and I didn't really know, because I'd heard mixed things. I'd heard some people say think about it a lot, I'd heard some people say just forget about it, but for me the forgetting about it to an extent did actually work. So the thing that I wrote down had crossed my mind. The thing that happened to me that I'm referring to was something to do with singing. So I posted a singing video on my YouTube channel, and basically I had thought one night, I wrote down in here that I had received a message from an agency, from like a singing company from the West End, asking me to audition, asking me to be part of their like company sort of thing. And I wrote it down in here and I really sort of channeled the energy, thought about it loads, imagined it happening, and then I just didn't think about it for like a week or so, because the next day I didn't have a message, and the day after that I thought about it again and I was like, I don't actually have a message. But I kind of wasn't upset about it, because I wasn't desperate for it. I would be absolutely thrilled if a message had come through, but I was like, it's fine. It's honestly fine. And then I just didn't really think about it again for like a week or so, and then all of a sudden I got a comment and I got a message from an agency asking me to audition, and I was like, oh my goodness, didn't I manifest this? And like, I had. And that is one of the things that has actually happened to me that I think is through manifestation. Now, some people might think that's just a coincidence or whatever, and fair enough if you do, but I do think that my manifesting it had something to do with it. Now, obviously, with this, I had put myself out there. I had taken a step. I'd posted a singing video. Now, if I'd never posted a singing video, then I wouldn't have received that message. Do you know what I mean? So I had done something towards it. I don't think this is something you can just think about. You have got to sort of make a plan and make steps to help you reach these goals and manifest it. You can't just think about it. So that's sort of my tip for scripting. We're going to move on to the next point, which is imagination and bringing your thoughts to life and channeling the energy. And that is the next point that I'm going to talk to you about. So imagination, I don't know if that is the correct word to use for this, but that is what I think of it as. What I do with my scripting and when I am meditating is I imagine these things that I've written down coming true. I imagine that they've already happened, and I basically read through what I've written, or sometimes I don't even read through it, I just think about what I've just written down. So for example, I'll read you another little extract. I'm waking up in white cotton bed sheets and I sit up and look ahead at me at the view of the city. I have a cup of tea in my hand in a beautiful mug, and my fiance is in the shower and just made me the tea. Just in that short extract, it goes on for pages and pages, but just in that short first extract, I have written about how I'm sitting in bed, I'm really relaxed. I look ahead at me at the view of the city, so I'm living in a city. Now in my head I was also thinking that I'm in a nice apartment. I've got a cup of tea in my hand. A cup of tea is something that really makes me calm, and I just love tea. And then my fiance has just made me the tea, so I've also written in there about having a fiance. So in that short extract I've already spoken about sort of 3 or 4 things that I would love to happen and manifest. So then what I do, just from that extract, let's imagine we're thinking about that, so I just sort of close my eyes and really imagine it. I just imagine myself sat in the bed. I did this, I wrote these things when I was actually sat in bed. I usually manifest and do scripting just before I go to sleep. And I sat in bed, I touched my bed covers, imagine they were white cotton sheets. I was looking straight ahead, but with my eyes shut, pretending the view of the city is there, fully picturing it, imagining a cup of tea in my hand, and imagining, I don't know, hearing my fiance getting ready or whatever. And I really thought about it. You have to feel the emotions. I'd say it's not just something you can think about, you really do have to feel every emotion, feel that relaxation, the happiness, just sort of the way you feel so calm and at ease and happy with yourself. And that is sort of what I did when I thought about this one night. These things haven't come true yet, but this is sort of a long-term goal for me, so I am not expecting it to happen anytime soon, but I just like to think about it every so often, and I find that that really helps. And that leads me on to the next topic which I'm going to talk to you about, which is meditation. So meditating. Now I haven't done loads of meditating, I'm going to be honest with you. I think I might have only done it once. However, although I have only done it once, I absolutely loved it. I did it for quite a long time. I probably say it took me, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes I did it for. But the energy I felt and the way I did it, the quality is what I'm trying to say, the quality of my meditating at that point was so like good that I don't feel like I necessarily need to do it every day or every week or even every month. Just whenever I'm really feeling like I want to, that's when I do it, and I'm planning to do it again some point soon because I feel like it has been quite a while since I last did it. Like I said, the quality of the meditating I did, I think that's the most important thing. Doing it every day but not feeling the emotions, not believing in yourself, not believing in these things that you've written down is not necessarily going to do anything, I feel like. I think you need to really have good quality meditation rather than lots of bad quality meditation. I don't really know how to explain it. When I was watching Fernanda Ramirez's video about manifestation, she mentioned this music that she had listened to. I think she listened to it when she was doing scripting. And I actually learned quite a lot of information about my scripting techniques from her. So I'd recommend going and watching her video. I think it was sort of like part of one of her vlogs. And she recommended listening to this music, which I will pop on screen now. I have spoken about it briefly in previous vlogs. The music was at 963 hertz, which apparently is good because it's such a high frequency that it helps you manifest and bring out high frequency and high energy in yourself, sort of thing. OMG, number one, it's so relaxing. It's just super slow, relaxing, chill music. Loved it. Number two, it had this rhythm that sort of helped me to breathe in and out, and I ended up getting to this point. Now, I have spoken about this in a vlog before, so sorry if you already watched that vlog and you're like, you've said about this before, but obviously I want to talk about it now because this is a fully dedicated video to manifestation. I got a piece of paper and I just let my hand draw whatever it wanted to draw, and I just ended up with this, you could call it artwork, but I'm probably going to actually display it on my walls maybe, I don't know. But I find that artwork so meaningful to me because I just did it when I was in such a relaxed state, and I just literally, like, I just let my hand flop and just literally was holding the pen and just sort of doing this. And it sounds really, really weird. I've never heard of anyone doing it before, but I tried it and I just drew this random pattern. It really helped me to release my emotions, and I ended up getting to this state where I was thinking about that extract that I just read you about, the apartment, looking out at the city, all those things. I just ran through the whole routine and the whole thing that I'd written down in here as I was sitting there with my eyes shut, really relaxing and listening to the music. And I literally was just thinking about it, and I got to a state where I was almost asleep, but I almost felt like, I don't know what the word is, not unconscious, but I felt like I was not in like my proper state of mind. Like I was just going out, I was almost asleep. And I sort of had to wake myself up because I was like, oh my gosh, am I dying? It felt, I can't explain it. I've never really felt that emotion before. But the thing was, I knew I wasn't asleep because I was still thinking about these things in here, and I was still going through everything in my head, and I think that helped me so much. And like I said, although those things haven't come true yet, I think things are happening, you know, every day, and every day is leading to things that are going to happen in the future. So I might not know about any of these things happening, and I could give up and think, it's obviously not happening, is it? Like, this isn't working. But really, I just need to give it time, and, you know, maybe in 10 years time, some of these things might have happened, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, like, has happened. I just wanted to share that sort of story with you, and I really loved meditating. So just to finish off this video, I heard this in another video before. So just to finish off this video, I just want to go through something that I heard in another video. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but somebody mentioned about the fact that, and this is just general life as well, not even necessarily manifestation, you need to have stepping stones and sort of a plan of how you are going to reach these things. Now, manifesting something, like I said earlier, it's not just necessarily just going to come true. You've also got to take steps in life and make decisions that are going to help to get you to that place you want to be, and you've got to really think about it. Now, this applies in general life because if you have a goal, you need to make stepping stones and a plan, and it's so much more likely that you will reach your dreams and reach these things that you're trying to manifest if you do have a plan. I'm not saying plan every minute of your life because I don't really encourage that, to be honest. I personally am someone who loves to go with the flow. I do like to have a bit of a plan, but I do also like to sort of see where life takes me. And so I do think it's good to have a plan for certain things, and for a certain goal, make a plan. But at the same time, I do think that you have to let some things just happen. Not everything you plan out is necessarily going to happen. Something, you know, tragic might happen, or something amazing might happen in your life that you never would have expected, and then you're going to have to alter your plan slightly. So don't be disheartened if something happens that throws you off track. Just carry on a different route and figure out how you can get there from that point, if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to end this video here because this has probably been very, very long, chatty. Thank you if you have watched till the end. Let me know any techniques that you've tried out in the comments. I would absolutely love to know what techniques you'd use, and I'm gonna keep trying out other techniques from now on and see what works for me, and see if I come across any other things that I'm like, OMG, I actually find that really helpful. I found that this works even better than scripting, meditating, whatever. I'm just going to keep trying different techniques, and I think if this is something you're interested in, then you need to do the same. Just sort of trial and error, see what works for you, because something that works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. So you just got to see what works best. And yeah, that's basically it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. This is the first sort of thing I've done on manifesting on my channel. I did mention it in a vlog a couple of months ago. I did mention a little bit about what I'd done with the meditating, but I hadn't spoken about it in full detail, and that's why I wanted to make this video. I've wanted to do one of these videos for so long, and I'm so excited to edit this, upload it, and just let you guys know about what things have worked for me. And I wish you all the luck in the world, and I hope that the things that you dream of do come true, and that you do work towards them, and everything is good in your life. And I really, really hope that you have a brilliant day, whatever you're doing today. Just remember that you are absolutely fabulous, and I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again soon. Lots of love, Sparkle Rewinds. Bye!